everybody. This is Lindsay Woods with Cascade Creative Group. And as promised, this is our follow-up to Tip Tuesday. This past Tuesday, we're talking all about Pinterest. We've been dissecting a social media platform every week in the month of March. This week was Pinterest. And today, our expert to continue the conversation is Jen Vazquez. I met Jen actually on Clubhouse, another social media platform. I started listening in our rooms that she was talking to about Pinterest. I started following her on Instagram. And then we just started chatting about all things Pinterest. And wow, blew my mind. All these things I did not know. So welcome, Jen.
Thank you so much. I'm really honored that you even asked me and excited to give out some information. I'm very passionate that every business owner should be using Pinterest, period. So I hope I help.
So let's start there. I joined Pinterest when I was planning my wedding, pinning all the colors. This was so many years ago. And I would pin recipes and things of that nature. And when we first started talking and you're like, well, do you have a Pinterest for your business page? I was very confused as to why I would want a Pinterest account for Cascade Creative Group. So can you kind of elaborate on that and why it is important?
Sure. So Pinterest is considered, if you look at Google Analytics and by a lot of people, as a search engine, a social media platform. Mm-hmm. But the fact is it's a search engine. So it's exactly like Google. It's kind of a cousin of Google, because when you type in something into Google, you get a bunch of different options. The first three are one of them is typically going to be a Pinterest post. And so it is, if you want more options to get found in Google, Pinterest is the way to go. It is the search engine. It's really exciting because Pinterest is used to find inspiration, to learn something, to DIY, but also to buy. People buy more on Pinterest than on Snapchat, on Facebook, on anything else. And in fact, even more than on Instagram. So because people typically go to Pinterest to find products or best products or things like that. And they're not typically going to go over to Instagram and then look for that product when they have products on there that you can buy. So if you're doing your research over there, you should absolutely be found over there. And it is, I mean, I can give you 18 million stats, but we don't have time for that. Trust me, it is free marketing for your business. And every single thing that you put on there has a link. And Instagram can't say that. So consider doing it for sure.
All right. So we're considering doing it. Well, we've already started, but for those watching, they're considering doing it, but it's a little overwhelming. I mean, how do you get started? Because what if you already have a personal account? Do you create a separate account, or what's the plan?
That's a great question. So the first thing that business owners tell me when I encourage/force them to be on Pinterest, because it is really good for your business from a marketing strategy perspective, is that you, of course, want to have a business Pinterest. So a lot of people think that it's like Instagram, and a lot of people used to think a year ago or more that if you had a personal Instagram, you're going to get far more reach, just like with Facebook, just like with everything else. It is not like that on Pinterest. So you want to have a business. If you have a personal account, you have two options. You can make that personal account your business account and archive or secret the boards that are personal, because you want all the boards to be in and around your business. It doesn't have to just be your business, but it has to connect in some way to your business. Or you can go ahead and start a whole new one just for your business. You want to connect that website. You want to connect that YouTube channel or Etsy shop or Instagram for sure. You want to connect that. That's the first step. And you want to use search words. They call them keywords in Pinterest. You might hear SEO or search engine optimization when you're talking about websites or blog posts. Mm-hmm. All of those things are the same thing. It's what is your ideal client typing on that keyboard to find what you offer. You want to use those words everywhere on Pinterest. In the title, in the board, in the everywhere.
So let's talk about that. I recently did a pin for one of these conversations. It was the one we had with Bobby Bainey about Facebook. And a friend of mine on Pinterest came back and said, there's not enough information on this cover board about what this actually is. So
Yeah.
it's
So
not like Instagram where you can hide it. You really have to put it there.
Yeah, it's interesting because you're talking about the fact that if the board isn't labeled and the pin isn't labeled properly, it's not found. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. So it's, not every platform is smart. And one thing that Pinterest does that is not smart, and I have literally sent a million messages to have them change this. I've been on there since literally the beginning of Pinterest. When you create a board, it lets you name the board and it lets you go on your merry way. But you want to go back into that board by clicking the three little dots on the top right, and you want to give that board a description. And everyone asks, well, like, what do you say for that description? Do you just list a bunch of keywords? And that's like spam to Pinterest. You don't ever want to just put a bunch of keywords. You want to literally write a paragraph about what they're going to find if they click on that board. And you can start it off by saying, on this board, you will find X, Y, Z, and then say it YZA, use all the different words that your client would say, but use it in a paragraph form. And you want to do the same with the title of the pin, and you want to do the same with the description of the pin. And you want to add 1 to 2 broad hashtags to the board's description and also to the pin description. It gives it a little bit of oomph.
Nice. Well, I love hearing that because our big thing here is, serve your client, serve your customer, bring value. And it seems like you're saying right off the bat, here's the problem I'm going to solve with this pin. So I absolutely love it.
Yes.
So what are some things, we call this the interview with the expert. What are some things that, are just your jam about Pinterest? Like why you are advocating so hard for businesses to get on this platform?
So, I'm a wedding photographer, so it's pretty typical that wedding photographer, in addition to being a marketing strategist, and it's pretty typical for wedding photographers to do it because, people who actually are planning a wedding, like you mentioned at the very beginning, utilize it to you've got 16-year-olds planning a wedding, right? That's not happening for years. So it's normal. That's how I got into it. But what I found was every time somebody came to me asking me about my services, I would say, oh, how did you hear about me? Right? Everybody says that. That's like a business thing that you want to say. But the problem is people don't take that extra next step. So if someone says Instagram, then what I learned after using Pinterest and thinking that it wasn't helping me, I would say, where did you find me? And they said, oh, on Instagram. And I said, oh, great. Did you use a hashtag or did someone refer you? Because A, we want to know what that hashtag is so we can use it everywhere. And B, we want to thank someone that has referred us, right? And 50 to 60% of the time, because now I use Pinterest all the time, they say, oh, well, no, actually, I found you on Pinterest. Then I went to your website and then I wanted to see your current work. And I went to Instagram. Clients these days are very smart and they will check you out on about 3 different platforms before they even contact you to see if they want to work with you. So it's part of that know, like, and trust in that client journey is to confirm that you're really who you are and make sure you're in certain places. So when you start using Pinterest, you originally think, or my clients would tend to think that it's not helping them. Well, 50% of my clients, 60% of my clients actually found me on Pinterest for a geographically specific area. And people don't know that that's how Pinterest can work. So if you have a business that's not geographically centered, you can literally work with anyone in the world. You should absolutely be on Pinterest. That's one thing I always like to make sure people know. If you don't take that extra step to ask where they actually found you, you're assuming that Instagram's sending you all this business, and that may not be the case. They may have found you through a Google search and went to your website and then wanted to confirm your business on Instagram. Instagram is to letting you to know personally about somebody, and Pinterest is to help people buy or find services. So that's one thing. The other thing is that I utilize Pinterest, and I have a new process that I help my clients with, a new system that every single thing that goes onto Instagram gets put onto Pinterest. So you're not recreating the wheel. You are not reinventing stuff. You're, that magic word repurposing that everyone uses, but it's a little harder to find out how that's possible. Pinterest does like those long pins, which is like an Instagram story or an IGTV, or let's talk about it, a reel, right? Instagram's pushing reels. Reels are the most perfect thing to go onto Pinterest, because Pinterest, the video is king everywhere.
Yeah.
Using video on any platform is going to give you a bigger bang for your buck, even if there's slideshows that you put together as a video in Canva. So I say take those reels, push them off there onto Pinterest. That drives traffic back to your Instagram. I've gotten a whole amount of engagement and followers just because I'm working with this new process of repurposing my Instagram content. And Instagram has a life expectancy for the social media platform of anywhere from 24 to 48 hours. Pinterest's post, the lifespan is 3 to 6 months. Wouldn't you like to take those posts that you're spending hours and dedication on making a really pretty grid and actually put them onto Pinterest and drive more traffic back to Instagram? It helps to grow both those platforms, and it's free.
So you're saying, because like today I put a reel up, and I mean, I worked really hard on it. And we made a couple.
Hello.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not the most savvy.
It takes 2 hours to make a reel for me. Right? So I get it. Exactly. I get it.
So you're saying you can pin those reels to Pinterest to give them a longer lifespan?
Yes. For anyone out there, if you want to go to my social media platform on Instagram, it's Jen Vazquez with 2 Z's coach, Jen Vazquez coach. I actually have a reel on there that tells you exactly how to do that.
That is incredible. Well, okay, guys, you heard it here first. Your content is going to get more life if you repurpose it on Pinterest. It is not just for recipes and wedding planning anymore. I mean, obviously, because you've made a whole second career out of it.
Let me just tell you one thing that came out in 2020. So Pinterest just went to 459 million monthly active users. 459 million people go to Pinterest at least once a month. Okay. And what they're predicting is that CEO is the new DIY, which means that, you're the team, right? You as your solopreneur on a lot of businesses out there, pinners will tap into their entrepreneurial side and use Pinterest to bolster their business. Branding strategies, podcast tips, and small business ideas are all going to be the biggest in demand search on Pinterest. That is their prediction. And their predictions, they made 10 predictions in 2020, before 2020, and 9 of those came true. So I would think about that.
That's pretty impressive given that we were in a pandemic, and we still are.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so I know you have a couple of great tools to help everybody out there. So can you share a little bit about those with us so people can
absolutely. I have
make 3 ways that journey easier.
Yeah, I have 3 ways that you can work with me. The free way is to, and you can get all these links on my Instagram, is to do my Pinterest challenge. It's 5 days. It's a 5 to 10 minute video each day for those 5 days. And it sets up your business profile to be optimized so that you are going to be getting the best boom for your buck in terms of time on there. I also have a Pinterest membership where we meet once a week for quick Q&As for people, them and their businesses, as well as pinning sessions once a week, which is accountability to actually do the work. And then we do masterminds and we have guest speakers. It's a whole thing. And then I also have, I do actually Pinterest for businesses. So it's sort of done for you, a Pinterest management strategy. So I like to be available for anybody at any budget because I am very passionate about making sure that everybody gets on there.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. Everybody make sure you connect with Jen and go check out that challenge. I know I'm going to do that. And we look forward to seeing you next week for our interview with the expert. Have a great week, guys.
So excited. Bye.